The feed there, you know, we've been running the equipment so much tonight that we had to switch the transmitters for the audio because we ran out of battery. So let's head off. We were talking about the assembly seat number 34. I think that, like I said, this one here is still a toss-up. I think it could go any direction. I think that one of the things we have to recognize that a lot of Smitty's votes, there are, for example, the Apple Valley Hesperia, where Smitty's going to come through very, very strong. They haven't been counted yet. They haven't shown. We'll see, hopefully see some of those at 4 o'clock today. So we could see this whole race totally flip around. So that's why we had to go back and put 3 question marks on it. So we'll find out, and we'll see where we go from there. Let's go into the next slide. Let's go to the 39th district. This one here is done. There's no question on this. Matter of fact, if anything, it looks like Paul is actually pulling away from Juan even further as the evening goes on. And I think that we're going to see this probably trend that direction completely because, like I said again, the votes have not been counted in the Victor Valley area to the numbers that we expected at this time here. So I'm expecting Paul really to pull away from here and show a very good showing tonight. So anyway, let's go ahead and go to the next one. So now I want to come into the county races. There's 2 races that no one up here voted for in the area, but I want to put them in here because these are 2 races that do affect us because remember, we're part of the county here, the county supervisors. If decisions are being made to either support the high desert or the Mojave River Valley, really what it needs to be based on is you got to find 3 people to vote. When you're in an office with 5 seats, you're always counting votes. You got to count to 3. If you don't count to 3, you don't get it. So one of the things it's important for the high desert and the Mojave River Valley to do is to make sure that we have friends that are on the supervisor seats that recognize the needs up here. Now, Don Roush, he takes a good deal of the desert. Of course, we have Paul Cook here. So the question is where can we get in, for example, Kirk Hagman has been a very, very good friend of the high desert. And we'll see how this is all going to work. I think that these races here are very, very interesting. They're not actually coming out between Jesse and Luis. This is completely different than the polling was suggesting out there. Luis was not going to have such a huge showing on this, where he's actually running ahead of Jesse. This is completely different than we were seeing before. And then on the other race, which is very, very interesting, is the Connie-Leah, we thought was going to be everybody would lay down and say, you know what, Connie is such a nice lady and she's going to go ahead and take out Kirk Hagman. Kirk Hagman's holding his own. You know, he's done a good job. He's done a very, very good job as a supervisor in there. And I think the folks are actually seeing this. So these are 2 races that are outside of our area, but they do influence the high desert and the entire Mojave River Valley. Let's go on and move on to the next county races. So I just want to go through these real quick. We talked about these earlier. The assessor's office. We did not show this because there's only 1 candidate in the assessor's office, and the same thing with the the DA, the district attorney. We'll get to that one in a second. They're totally at 4 or 5 in the morning. Sometimes you start drawing a blank here. But I just want to show you here that, you know, for example, the auditor, controller, treasurer, tax collector, which is a huge mouthful of a name there. You know, Ensign Mason has done a very, very good job for the county there, and he will definitely keep the seat. So we'll have Bob Dunton. He'll also keep the seat as the assessor's done an amazing job for our county. Let's go ahead and move into the next county races. So the next ones I want to talk about was Jason Anderson, which I totally drew a blank there for a moment. He's our DA. Jason has done just a phenomenal job as DA in our district here. There's things that he has incorporated into our communities here that no one's ever done before, and it's totally changed the atmosphere of that office down there. He works very, very tight with the Sheriff's Department, and actually all 4 of these county seats work very, very tight together, which is really amazing. Let's get into the sheriff. Of course, before, remember, we had John McMahon. John McMahon stepped away, and the county supervisors appointed Shannon Dykes. Shannon has done an amazing job already. He gets it. He's just such a nice guy to really have. And you know what? He lives locally into the high desert of the Mojave River Valley here. So it's like we have a friend here that's on the sheriff department. And that's always good to have. He's definitely, he saw it. He's got the seat. It's all done for him. And that one there is, we will have him as the sheriff. Let's go on to the next seats here. Some of the other ones are the judges. Now, a lot of times folks are saying, oh my gosh, judges, I never know what to vote for judges. Can you tell me what to vote for judges and who's who? Well, these two here, these two races were very, very unique. Matter of fact, I got a chance to interview David and Melissa. I put an invite in to interview the other two, but it's just, they declined or just never got back to me. I tell you, one of the things I like to have it as a judge sometimes is somebody that's worked in the DA's office, because they get the full picture of what's going on. It's not just some attorney that gets a wild hair and says, hey, let me put a bunch of money together and I'm going to buy myself a judgeship. Most of the time these seats are appointed by the governor. Well, these are not. So these are, we had a chance with the voters actually voting for these seats. So I know that David is going to do an amazing job in there for us as one of our judges, and Melissa Rodriguez too. These are two incredible people. We should be very pleased to have them in there because they look at the big picture of everything, and I think they're very, very solid. Let's go ahead and move on to the next screen here. The last one here that I wanted to talk about is the Superintendent of Schools. Ted Alejandre came in there. He's been in there. This is the second round he's been voted in. I think that Ted has done a really good job. Ken Larson tried to come in and to see if he could go ahead and take the seat. But I don't think that's going to be a tough one for someone to knock Ted out of the seat. I think anytime in the future here. Ted has been very dynamic. He's been very personable across the districts, and so this is a man that's going to be really tough to knock out. And of course, at this point here, he's got the 50% plus one, so he'll be in here. Let's move on here. So I just want to go back and also talk about, remember that's every 2 hours. Matter of fact, by the time it took us to do all this stuff here, we're almost right around the corner of another update. We're gonna let the team go for tonight here. And actually this next update is very, very critical. But in the spirit of things, I think we'll just go ahead and see if we can do it as a bigger package for tomorrow. There's a lot of still questions out there. We're still wondering how many votes are going to be handled, how many votes are going to be actually voted or counted in the high desert here in the entire Mojave River Valley, because right now it's not being counted. So the way I understand is what their plan is down there, what they've said to us. They're going to keep counting ballots until all the poll ballots are in. Well, at this point here, I think we're from the 2 o'clock time, it was only like, what, 25%. So they got a long time to go. So we could see a 2-hour update going further here. Now, in the past, a lot of these elections, they've been able to at least get this cleared out by 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, to the point where the next update would be at 5 o'clock tomorrow, or sometimes they would do noon tomorrow on the day after the election. I think this one here is, for whatever reason, we could see a 4 o'clock update, a 6 o'clock update, maybe an 8 o'clock update. So what we're going to do tomorrow, we're going to try to let this go and see if we get a little bit more solid, and then we'll do a big update for the big picture of everything. So at least where we are tomorrow, where we stand. So, thank you very much for watching. You know what, this is a great way. We've been wanting to get this information out to you. Some of these, if you watched them over and over again, watch them all the way through here, you might hear me saying the same thing, but then again, I'm talking about things that modify and change as we go on the line. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and click the little bell so you can see when we actually send these through. On Facebook, we're also on there live. Go ahead and and like it there. If you have any questions or something you want us to cover or something we missed, send an email to socialmedia@ciso.com. A lot of the questions that we've gotten here, I've gone and covered them tonight. I didn't go into specific deals to say that this is a specific thing, but we covered a lot of stuff here tonight with this. So anyway, on behalf of my team in here, and I'm Eric Swanson, and thank you for watching Mojave River Valley News. We got a lot of stuff coming your way. Stay with us.